holding the sacred memory of our Mahavirar who sacrificed their lives for the realization of the Elam Tamils' inherent right to self-determination in the form of an independent and sovereign state, and for remedial justice and for remedial cessation. I would like to share my thoughts on the topic of self-determination of nations under occupation. But first, I would like to congratulate Honorable Livingstone Shevana for his commitment and contribution to the promotion of democratic and equitable international order. I also would like to take this opportunity to extend Elam Tamil solidarity to the representatives of the Western Sahara, Kurds, Southern Yemen, Palestine, Catalonia, Occidental Armenia, and Southern Cameroon. I also would like to express how glad I am to hear Professor Paul Newman, who we consider as one of us. In view of the Elam Tamils, the cause of the conflicts in the world, the cause for the death and destruction is this: the present international order is neither democratic nor equitable. The present international order is primarily designed by states, of states, for states. As our Tamil national leader repeatedly said, that states do not act on righteousness. States do not act on justice. States act primarily based on their national interest. The existing international institutions are state-centric. If you take the monetary institutions, IMF or World Bank, take the international judicial institutions, ICC, International Criminal Court or International Court of Justice, all are state-centric. Only states have access to these institutions. We, the oppressed people or the liberation movements, we do not have any access. I do not have to say this to Honorable Livingstone Shenaga. He is well aware of this problem. In fact, his mandate is to rectify it. In his report to the General Assembly dated July 30th, 2019, he specifically stated that to have a more democratic and equitable international order is to ensure public participation and inclusion in traditional multilateral institutions. We, the Elam Tamils, are a prime example of the way in which the present international order victimized oppressed people. The UN Charter clearly states, Article 2 and Article 55 of the UN Charter says that the friendly relations between nations based on right to self-determination and equality. It should be noted, it didn't say friendly relations among states, it states friendly relations among nations. Article 1 of the Civil and Political Rights Covenant or Article 1 of the Economic and Social Rights Covenant loudly claims that all people have the right to self-determination. There's General Assembly Resolution 2625, which is considered as a customary international law, proclaims by virtue of their right to self-determination, the people have a right to decide their own political status and to pursue their social, cultural, and economic development. We, the Elam Tamil people, like the people of Scotland, like the people of Croatia, like the people of Bangladesh, we have the objective elements such as distinct language and distinct culture. We also have the subjective elements identified by Judge Aman of the International Court of Justice in the Western Sahara case, that we have a concerted effort, conscious action, lasting will, real determination. We have all these subjective elements. We have the objective element. We satisfy the objective elements. We satisfy the subjective elements. We also have a traditional relationship with the territory, which has been recognized in international treaty. If you take a look at Indo-Sri Lankan Accord, which clearly state that the north and eastern part of Sri Lanka is a historical habitation of the Elam Tamils. So we satisfy the objective element. We satisfy the subjective element. We have a relationship to the territory. Still, we see a concerted effort in the UN as well as in the corridors of power to reduce us to a minority. They do not recognize as a right to, as a people who are entitled to the right to self-determination. So where can we go? Big forum we can have access to establish that we constitute people and we are entitled to the right to self-determination. Unfortunately, there is no forum. There is no forum where we can go. That's the problem. Then we come to the situation in Sri Lanka. Okay, the Tamil situation in the island of Sri Lanka. The 1972 constitution, the 1978 constitution, in both constitution making, Tamils did not participate, did not even consent. So it is an alien domination. In fact, some scholars argue that the decolonization process is not completed with respect to the Tamils in the island of Sri Lanka. But the UN has not named us as a colonial territory. I do not want to venture in that direction at this time. We talk about the current situation. The constitutions were imposed on us. The laws starting from 1956 Single Only Act were imposed on us. We did not have any say in those legislative making, because the Sri Lankan polity and the institutions are permitted with pervasive entrenched racism. We do not have any say there. In fact, this was recognized by the expert in the report of the expert panel appointed by then UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. In the report, the experts said the exclusion of Tamils, real or perceived, is the main cause for the conflict in the island of Sri Lanka. So under General Assembly Resolution 2625, when we are denied we are denied participation in the political process. 2625 guaranteed territorial integrity of the states, only the states that represent people irrespective of race, creed, color. But if since the Sri Lankan state does not represent us, we have every right to establish our right to self-determination in the form of an independent state. We want to resolve it peacefully. The Tamil national leader, Mr. Honorable Velupula Prabhakaran, repeatedly said, we want to resolve this conflict peacefully. But where we can resolve it? Which forum we can go? There's no forum. That is the problem now we face. So we have to come up with a forum. To take, for example, about what happened during the final stages of the war. According to the UN report itself, more than 70,000 Tamils, the civilians were killed. According to late Reverend Rayappu, 146,679 people are unaccounted for. Now these more than 12 years since 2009, not a single person has been brought to justice, let alone be arrested. Why? Because all these international institutions, whether take it ICC, whether take it ICJ, are controlled by states. States act according to their own interest. They do not want to bring these actions in those forums. So what we have decided, Ulam Tamils, we take the matter in our own hands. We chart our own course. In this respect, we have launched a project called Victims-Driven International Justice. We have launched this project, and based on the evolving right to know and right to truth, we are in the process of obtaining evidence from the High Commissioner. Also, last week, actually, we filed to request with the US State Department under the Freedom of Information Act. We have asked the US State Department to share the whatever information they have pertains to the 1983 racial program, and also especially the communication between the embassy and the State Department, and also the 2009, the final stage, especially the current President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's involvement in the white flag surrender. So we are trying to we are personally, we are of the view the existing order does not going to serve our needs or will not bring justice to us. We'll create new mechanism. So that's what we have started. And also with respect to the 2009 Mullivai genocide, it was not perpetrated by one single army commander or one single politician or by one single army battalion. The whole state itself committed the crime. The whole state itself. So we have to bring the state to be accountable for the heinous crimes. And we know the difficulties. Again, the states have the so-called immunity, sovereign immunity, and it is codified in the Foreign Sovereign Immunity Act. You cannot bring any action against the states, because again, as I said, the whole thing is state-centric. But we have decided, with the support of the political support and the support of the civil society, we can change that law. will change the Foreign Sovereign Immunity Act, bring an amendment that the states can be sued for international crimes such as genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes. So now what happened in Mullawaikal genocide has enhanced and legitimized our call for an independent state under the concept of remedial justice and remedial secession. There may be questions, what is the threshold to invoke remedial justice, or what is the threshold to trigger remedial secession? But in the case of Elam Tamils, given the 157 racial programs starting from independence, from 1956 to 2008, which culminated in Mullawaikal genocide, which is now continuing in the form of structural genocide, easily passed that whatever the threshold may be. So presently we are invoking our right to self-determination. Also, we supplement it under the remedial secession, remedial justice, remedial secession. Again, the problem is, where can we go? Which forum we can go? Can we go to the Human Rights Council? Can we go to the General Assembly? Can we go to the Security Council? Can we go to the ICJ? Can we go to the ICC? No, we cannot go anywhere. There's no forum for us. That is the problem. So so we have to come up with some kind of a forum. We have to create some kind of a forum. I would like to say at the last year annual conference, international annual conference of the American Society of International Law, they established a fictional court. They established a fictional court, International Court for Self-Determination, and we had a panel on self-determination in the 21st century. So I take this opportunity to request Honorable Shenguanawa to make a recommendation to the Secretary General or to the General Assembly, Secretary General, to invoke his inherent power to establish a court, international court for self-determination, where we can argue, we can debate and resolve these issues in a peaceful manner. And there is precedent for this. There's a precedent for this. With respect to Ireland issue, during the League of Nations period, when Ireland wanted to join with Sweden, the League of Nations established a commission of jurists, established a commission of inquiry to analyze, to advise the League of Nations how to handle the Ireland people's wishes to be joined with Sweden. Of course, this tribunal will not have any binding effect. Of course, under the charter, we are not asking to establish a court that will have a binding force, because under the charter, we cannot do that. But this court, we believe, can give some guidelines, can give an advisory opinion to the international community, to the international institutions and policymakers to resolve these issues pertaining to self-determination in an appropriate form. Thank you. Tamil's destiny is in Tamil's hands. Tamil's thirst of Tamils is Tamil.